It's been almost 3 years since Gary Flynn became the president and CEO of iconic Dumas and Sons here in downtown Charleston. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with Gary one-on-one. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. Gary Flynn.
Yes, sir.
It's so good to see you again.
It's glad to see you as well. Thanks for being here.
Oh, anytime. You know, we met, I guess, almost 2 months ago.
Yep.
For the first time, I came by here at Dumas and Sons. Obviously, you're the president and CEO. And I know that you've been the president and CEO over here for at least 2 years now, I believe.
Yeah, coming up on 3 in July.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is the biggest difference between 3 years ago and now as you as president and CEO of this company?
Well, one of the things we've been doing in the last 2 years has really been evolving our luxury business and working on our tailored clothing area. Sportswear is still by far the most important thing that we do here, but we've been doing it for so long that we kind of have that down and doing very well there. And one of the things I noticed when I first got here was that we could be a little bit more broad with our assortment in tailored clothing and luxury goods. So that's one of the big things.
And I know that when I went back on read your Q&A with the Postal Courier on October 13, 2016, you said this, quote, "Our business is to create amazing, lifelong relationships with our customers and provide them with terrific customer service that brings them back to Dumas and Sons for any and all of their needs." This will be, at the time, it was a 100-year family-owned and operated company in 2017. And we are all very proud of that fact. David Dumas is the owner of the company, and I feel fortunate to be here helping him keep this business moving forward. How do you keep this business moving forward in 2019?
Yeah. So now we're 102 years old,
right,
thankfully.
Right.
And one of the things that Dumas has done many times throughout that 102 years is evolve and change and grow and move.
Right.
And I think in today's market and today's world, the pace is so quick, so fast, that you have to be nimble and quick as a retailer to stay up with your customer, because the customer now, because of the having a phone and the internet and their access to, and with social media, the instant access that you have to what the brands are saying and what trends are happening and what's going on. If you're not on top of your game as a retailer, your customer can get out in front of you and leave you behind. And that's one thing for a 102-year-old business. We have to stay fast. We have to feel like we're just a brand new upstart business almost every single season. That's the way we kind of attack the business, is what's new, what's cool, what's out there, what are people talking about? It needs to be at Dumas, because that's what our customers are going to be looking for from us.
What's new and what's now?
Well, we're seeing more customization happening in all aspects of the business, or personalization even is another, maybe a better word. A particular jacket like that beautiful one you're wearing today.
Thank you,
that's tailored to you so that it fits you.
Thank you.
A custom piece that maybe you went through a bunch of swatches and found something that was just for you, that you put a special lining in and a special button on that sets you apart from everyone else. A shirt that has a particular pattern or a button treatment. Anything that you can kind of make your own.
Right.
We're seeing a lot of people react very strongly to that. So that's kind of one of the new things that are happening out there. Color is always important in the South, and we focus really hard on trying to make sure we have lots of fun colors of this season. We see a lot of greens, a lot of purples happening, so we've made sure to pepper that into the mix. It's not all about blue, although guys love blue, and we sell blue by far the best. We always have to infuse some new color into things.
And you talk about the season. Obviously, next week is the Cooper River Bridge Run.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Dumas in that discussion?
Well, they run right by the front of our door.
Oh, yes.
And for the last couple of years, we've been working with a brand called There's No Place Like Charleston.
Oh, yeah.
And Jeff has created he went back and recreated the original artwork for the Cooper River Bridge Run, and so he put that onto a T-shirt for us, so that that's kind of our play into working with the Cooper River, the Bridge Run.
Right.
I'm a personal runner of it. I've run it the last 2 years. I will run it again this year.
Oh, good. I'll be right there with you.
All right, cool, good. I hope to beat my time from last year, but we'll see. I feel a little bit behind. I think I did 47 and change last year, so I'm hoping to do it in 7-minute 30, 7-minute 45, something like that.
Oh yeah, you'll get there.
Yeah, I hope so.
I'm hoping to do 45.
Right. Oh, good for you. That'd be great.
Yeah, go back to my old days.
Yeah.
I know I've been doing it for 14 years. But let me get back to your earlier quote. You said this quote, our business is to create amazing lifelong relationships with our customers and provide them with terrific customer service that brings them back to Dumas and Sons. What is the relationship that you have right now with your customers?
So what we're trying to work on is be more meaningful to our best customers. And one way that we're doing that is going after some of these more luxurious brands that you can't find in Charleston, you couldn't find anywhere. And yet our customer travels, and they'll shop in New York City, or they'll shop in Paris, or they'll shop wherever they happen to be traveling. But if they can find those things here, they'll shop from us too, because I think they like us, thankfully.
Right.
They've been very loyal to us over the years, and we're trying to continue to show them some things that they wouldn't expect to do us. About a month ago now, we had a dinner in the store. Set up a long table, sat 50 people, had a beautiful Italian dinner spread, had a great sommelier here, and we did something special for our customers that evening, and I thought that was a lot of fun. So we're trying to always do something out of the ordinary. There's a few customers that have trusted us enough to allow us to take them to New York and go into some of the showrooms that some of our brands have there, and they are able to buy future seasons product before it ever hits the store anywhere. So we're trying to do things like that. One of our guys went to a person's home and rearranged their closet with them and went through and weeded out some old stuff, kind of replayed with the wardrobe to see kind of what the holes might be, and then worked with them to kind of get him ready for the season. You know, things like that you don't think you're going to, you just can't get that service just anywhere. So, I grew up in the business through Nordstrom, and they have a great reputation for customer service, and I learned a lot from them, and I'm trying to make sure that feeling is alive here.
You also said this too, quote, retail is an interesting, very, very interesting place today. Retailers have always had to evolve to meet the needs of their customers, but the pace of that evolution is escalating. With so many shopping outlet options available to consumers today, in order to be heard, to be relevant, to be important, you have to be able to let the customer shop the way that they want to shop. Ideally, you want to be available to your customers, as you mentioned earlier, across the multiple mediums, such as in-store, online, via phone, text message, and email. I should ask this at the end of this particular interview, but what is the future of retail in your mind?
Well, I think it's, in general, the future of retail is just being in step and in tune with what's happening with your customer and what's happening in the marketplace, and trying to capitalize on those new trends as they come up. I don't think anybody can tell you what the future of a store looks like or what the future of online looks like, because it's still evolving and changing all the time. But what I can say is we have to do a better job of being there for our customer in all those channels that you mentioned before. I think we do a great job when we have somebody in the store, and I think we do a great job when someone's at home and we're either calling them on the phone or text messaging with them and sending them pictures and doing that very, very well. Where we fall short right now is the online store experience, which we're working on today, actually. So we should be revamping and opening up our shop online service in the next 30 days. So we hope to wow some people there, because I hear a lot of people, which I'm so happy and proud to hear, where we get, we have customers from all over the place, right? Corner of King and Society gets a lot of people walking by it,
right?
And those people come from all over the place. And I hear a lot, boy, man, I wish I had a store like Dumas in my hometown. Well, I feel like they can if we do our website properly, and they can access us at any time they want to. And opening up what you see in our store online will give them that experience, hopefully. And but we can't just take some pictures and post it online. It's got to be way more than that today. There's got to be content there. There's got to be education there. There's got to be editorial. There's got to be. It still has to feel like Dumas when you're in there, and so we're crafting that right now as we speak.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
You also said this too. Quote, when it comes to product virtualizing, I've always lived by the rule that David Whitman, Executive Vice President of Menswear at Nordstrom, gave me early on in my buying career. It's very simple, really. Buy more of the stuff that's selling and less of the stuff that's not.
Right.
What is the less of the stuff that's not?
Well, you mean right now? What
Yes.
is less of? Well, brands have evolutions, right? And sometimes they're pistol hot, and sometimes on a Tuesday at noon they just slow down really quickly. And so you have to be nimble enough to move away from things as they're getting colder, and always try to save money in season to chase the things that are hot. You can't just go to market and spend all your money up front and think you know exactly what's going to sell 6, 8, 10, 12 months from now, because you're going to be wrong. My experience has been the best money you can spend is the money you spend today to sell tomorrow. So the closer you can cut down on that window of when you place your order to when you actually sell the product, the smarter your decision is going to be. Whether that be color, whether that be size, whatever. So the slow part, the things that are not as hot as they used to be, are a little bit more of the classically inspired things, maybe things that we've been known for in the past. We've been known for a Sears pursuit, and a bow tie, and all that. But that look has evolved. Charleston is evolving. Because so many people are moving here from outside of the area, and they're not necessarily Southerners or have a Southern flair to them, they're coming with their taste, right? They're coming with what they already have come to know and like. They could be a 45-year-old executive that's been in New York, and for whatever reason they're relocating here. They expect to find what they can find in New York here. So that's what we're trying to provide for them. And the classic Charlestonian look, I don't know if that even really is a thing anymore or exists anymore, because it has evolved, because the whole town has evolved. We're becoming much more cosmopolitan, and that's a great thing. Sure. But the downside of it a little bit is we lose a little bit of our charm, maybe, and a little bit of our heritage, a little bit in at least in the way we dress. And so those are the things that I think are kind of now sunsetting in the background as we chase the things that have been hot.
That brings me to my next quote, or to your next quote, that is. You said this to the Post Inquiry back in 2016. You said this quote, listen to your team, listen to your customer, listen to the competition, listen to the industry, listen to your vendor partners. Always be listening, always be learning. The moment you stop asking questions, the moment you stop learning is the moment you start to fail. Retail isn't a business you ever get completely right and be done with. Retail is always changing. It's always evolving. It's always different. You need to change and evolve with it. And best way I found to do it, that is just to listen. How many more questions do you have about retail right now?
Oh, thousands. I do fully believe in that statement that I said before, and I still believe it today. Because things change, if you just pretend or think that maybe because I've been in the business 35 years, I feel like I've seen it all now and I know exactly what's happening, that's not even close to true. Because again, the speed of things are changing so fast and so rapidly.
Right.
I mean, the fits are changing and the colors are changing and the brands are changing, and I sit here in Charleston, 95% of my time. The other times I'm in New York and I'm in Charlotte and I'm in Market and whatnot. But most of the time I only see what comes to me here. So I have to be out on the internet. I have to be talking to my friends that have stores. I have to talk to my vendors to say, what's going on out there? What are you hearing? Because we might miss a trend if we're not paying attention because we're so focused on just doing well here in the store every day. We have to spend that time teaching ourselves what's happening and spend time exploring what's possible. And I think you just have to be curious. I mean, you just have to come at it like, hey, teach me something today. I need to learn something from you today. Tell me something I don't know. And if you do that, I think you'll stay lockstep with what's happening.
And you also said this too, quote, it seems cliche to say, But the way customers are shopping and researching continues to evolve. Customers today have access to so much information and so many choices that it makes you think you have the decisions to think differently. Being available to your customers for the way they want to shop, when they want to shop, and how they want to shop has changed dramatically and still evolving today. You have got to be open to trying new ways of serving your customers. What ways are you guys trying to serve your customers differently?
Well, I think I alluded to some of those things before. One is just making them feel like they're part of something. Part of the team, part of our culture, part of what we're doing. It's more than just a shopping experience. It's more than just a store. I think that you never stop trying to evolve that. And then these things like these dinners and taking people to New York and home delivery and doing this closet clean out idea. I had one customer that is very colorblind and has a hard time deciding, what shirt to wear with what jacket with what pant.
Right.
So we literally went through and said A, and put a little A inside of each of the garments that all went together, kind of like granimals of old for the kids. And it helped the guy. So again, we want to be problem solvers for customers. And if we can help them get over some challenges, hopefully that gains some loyalty from them for the future, for the next time they want to shop.
And you also said this too. Once, early on in my career, I got too caught up in what my boss thought and didn't trust my instincts, didn't trust my gut to listen to my team. I've always wanted to be a leader that asks for ideas from my team. What ideas are you asking from this team right now?
I've got a couple guys down on the floor. Well, all of them provide input that helps us. There's two in particular that are pushing us down this luxury road because it's working for them and they see it working for them.
Right.
And so they're pushing me to go faster. And that's Price, Ferrara, and Clark Hickerson are both pushing really hard in that area, and the customers that are loyal to them are loving what we're doing. So Price has a great eye for fashion. He's got buying in his background, and he's got great connections with a lot of his customers and with the vendor community. So he's always asking questions of the vendor community. What's working, what's not working, what should we be looking at? Hey, the brands that we're carrying, what would complement what we're doing, and trying to always learn something new that way. So he's asking questions, which he then is bringing ideas to me, and we're bringing it together for the customer. But then, Colin downstairs, he's been here for 13 years, 14 years, maybe almost 15 years now. And, he knows a lot of people in this town, and a lot of people know him, and he gives me great feedback all the time about, Southern Tide and what's happening there, or Smathers and Branson, and things he hears from his customers. And so I want them all to have their ears perked up and just listening. Because, again, in retail, you'll never get it right. If you got it 100% right, we'd never take a markdown, right? And markdowns are a part of what we do. But I don't see a markdown necessarily as a bad thing. It's a teaching moment. And it's also, if you're not pushing a little bit and taking some risk a little bit and making people go, whoa, what is that? I would never wear that in a million years, but that's pretty cool. And then you sell them something else, right? So there's some of that you have to put out there, fully knowing that you're probably going to mark it down, or maybe not sell it at all. But it's an eye catcher, it's an eye grabber. It helps tell the statement of the season or something, just to make people go, oh my gosh, and try to kind of startle them just a little bit. So we tend to try to put things in the windows that are eye-popping and really catch you and make you go, who would wear that? Not me, but I gotta go check that out. That's so cool. I could never pull that off, but somebody can. That sort of thing. And again, it's about theater a bit. So that's what we're trying to do there.
What has been a teachable moment for you?
For me personally?
Yes, sir.
Meaning, what have I...
In the retail business.
Okay. Well, I've done a few things in this business that put me really out of my comfort zone. And one was, when I was at Nordstrom, I'd been there for 18 years or so. And then I was in the men's division for the vast majority of that. But then my boss, David Whitman, who you referenced earlier, was also given the kids' wear division to run. So he was in charge of men's and kids, and he wanted somebody to run the kids' part for him. And so he tapped me on the shoulder, and I ended up taking the job for that. And so here I am, this guy that's single, doesn't have a kid, been in the men's division my whole life, and I have to learn a whole new world. And that really taught me to really understand the customer. Because in menswear, you can kind of get by saying, well, I would wear that. That looks good. This works. You can visualize yourself in things, right? When you're talking about infants and toddlers and girls and boys, and you really have to know the customer and what they're looking for. So that was a big teaching moment for me, was to try to free myself from the equation and really make it all about the customer. And the second learning I had was from Nordstrom. I went to Hugo Boss.
Oh, yes.
And I did that for about 5 years, which was amazing. But it was still mostly menswear and women's wear clothing. I still understood it very well. From there, I went over to Samsung, which was an electronics company, obviously. Washers and dryers and refrigerators and phones and smartwatches. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm in charge of retail merchandising. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I apply what I do know into a field that I don't know? And again, it just takes a couple minutes to realize, hey, you know what? The idea is to try to make someone want something that they never knew even existed before, or that they never would have dreamed of being interested in. And that's the same thing with a television, as a phone, as a blazer, as a purple tie, or whatever it could be. It's like, I never even thought about that, but man, that looks cool, or man, that makes sense, or man, that whatever. Again, you've got to just make people stop and think and see themselves in it, and it works. So that was another learning moment for me, to say, think again like the customer, what it is that they need out of something, and try to solve a problem for them. And so all of that I've been able to learn throughout my years at Nordstrom, and it's Hugo Boss, and then at Samsung, I put to work here every single day.
And you talk about here, if you were to pick up a newspaper in the next 5 years, what do you want the headline to be about Dumas and Sons?
So I want Dumas and Sons. This is very important to me. Dumas and Sons is third generation owned. David Dumas is still the majority owner of the business. And what he wants, and I want both, is Dumas to have a sterling reputation, to be known in the industry, to be beloved by our customers. But I also want to grow, and we both want to grow, and that means outside of the four walls that we have here. So we opened a store in June last year, Southern Tide by Dumas and Sons. That's the first time we ever opened a second location in 101 years at the time. And then, the online store, I think, will be another thing that will be something that's interesting. But I think that because of the last 102 years of hard work, it opens us up to the opportunity of maybe having an Dumas and Sons store somewhere else in the Southeast. And we could grow in that direction because the brand is strong. I mean, there's a lot of people who know who we are. And David and his family have done an amazing job of getting that culture out there. And I believe that we could have 5, 6 of them in the greater Southeast area and really make some noise.
Oh, I can't wait. And I love the Mount Pleasant Town Center. So
there you go.
Great location for that.
Yeah.
Well, Gary Flynn, thank you so much for your time.
It's my absolute pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks for being here. I much appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.